It was great. And apparently, I've never been on live television before, but apparently sometimes I don't watch I don't watch the news because I'm a kid, and apparently Grandpa just gives me the remote after we watch the Powerball.
It's the Powerball.
Tell me about the ride. What did you think about the ride?
Well, it was great
Why?
because apparently you're spinning around, and apparently every time you get dizzy,
Yeah?
that's all you do is get dizzy.
Is it fun?
Yeah. And I've never ever been on live television. I never ever be on live television.
Are you excited?
Well, apparently it's time for us to come back because apparently it's sunrise and I've never been on live television before. And apparently TK is here with the headlines. Apparently, good morning. Apparently,
Great morning, gentlemen.
Apparently TK is in blue.
apparently TK is in
It's
blue.
so good to have both of you here.
How are you?
I'm apparently doing pretty well.
Nice. Apparently.
Great morning, everyone. Welcome to Headlines. Let's get right into it. Our first headline comes from CVI News, where PIOJ says the economy grew 2.6% in 2023. So the Jamaican economy grew by 2.6% for the calendar year of 2023, and that's according to preliminary estimates that were presented by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the PIOJ, at its quarterly media briefing on Wednesday. The Director General of the PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, says the Jamaican economy grew by nearly 2% in the final quarter, while the goods-producing sector grew by 2.3%. So here are some of the breakdowns now. Mining and quarrying expanded by 23%. Manufacturing, however, declined by 0.3%. All sectors of the services industry except government services grew. So this was led by tourism, as represented, of course, as represented by hotels and restaurants, which grew by 5.1%. So Dr. Henry is confident, stating that the country should stay on the growth path for 2024. So some
That's good news.
positive
That sounds
numbers.
good.
Some
that's
positive
You know,
numbers.
I mean,
Growth is always good news.
Yeah.
Especially coming at the end of 2023, following 3 years of pandemic. I mean, you know, it shows our resilience. Especially, I like the fact that the construction industry, the sector, has grown also because employment would
and
have
you
grown.
see that. You see it in the projects
All over,
and
yeah, the real
you see
estate.
it a lot.
Yes.
But one thing that I'm impressed about, especially amidst travel advisories and of all sorts,
yes.
is the growth in the tourism industry. And what I also like is the fact that, you know, we're diversifying the industry and we're giving more offerings and more properties and more rooms, etc., and therefore more jobs. And the tourism industry grew by 5.1%.
That's
I mean,
significant. That's a
that's
material.
big growth. That's big growth. You know?
I mean, I remember back during COVID that they were expecting to have what's called revenge travel. So like people who have been locked up for so long,
Yes,
they were
yes.
going to be traveling, even if they're not accustomed to it, just to kind of get back into that sense of freedom. So I'm glad that they chose Jamaica as one of the revenge travel destinations, you know?
Yes.
But I mean, let's not take economic growth lightly. Economic growth, I mean, GDP is a measure of income, but it's a
Total.
measure of output and productivity, as the
Goods and
word would
services.
suggest. And so we want the economy to be more productive.
Absolutely.
Because it would be indicative of development. And what we want is not just economic growth, but economic development. And so hopefully we're moving in this way, and we're moving in a direction that the economic growth is more evenly distributed, so that more people can feel the economic growth, so that it's not concentrated in the hands of a few.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
the people, the real people behind the growth, because sometimes we often don't see that and miss that, you know? The human resource, most important resource.
But I do hope also that the manufacturing sector, because I genuinely believe that a thriving, bustling economy needs to be manufacturing things. So I would hope that whatever is going on in manufacturing, which saw a slight decline, I would hope that we pick up.
Upswing.
You know? Yeah, I mean,
Uptick is coming.
So looking forward to more upward trends in the numbers, especially as it relates to the economy.
Yes,
Let's
yes,
go.
yes.
Go Jamaica. Go Jamaica. All right. All right. So next up, ex-boyfriend of burn victim Alicia King arrested. So Antoine Gray, the ex-boyfriend of burn victim Alicia King, has been captured by the police. Gray, who was on the run after reportedly setting her on fire last August, was arrested yesterday in Central Village, St. Catherine, in a joint operation involving the St. Andrew South, Linstead and Central Village Police. The 18-year-old was held around 1:40 p.m. and it's also understood that a woman was taken into custody for reportedly harboring Gray at her home. So King, who was 17 at the time, was doused with gasoline and set on fire while she was sleeping at a relative's house in Redwood, St. Catherine last August. So Gray's arrest came a day after King returned to Jamaica on Tuesday evening following intensive life-saving surgery in the United States. Gray was subsequently listed as a person of interest by the police following the incident. At the time of the attack, King was awaiting her Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate results, which she passed 6 of them, 6 subjects.
Awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's good news at the end of that news, that she was successful in her examinations, you know.
And that she
she's coming
received
in-
the treatment. She received some
received the
very
treatment.
important treatment that she needed
Yes,
in the
yes,
States. So
yes.
I know that she's doing better
She's
now.
doing better.
Yeah.
And also, I saw the news and heard her speaking about how she's feeling, and that's a very important part of the process to recovery, that mentally she's in a better place than she was during the trauma, you know. She's coming in and he's going in. It's an interesting mix of events there.
It happened, you know, she returned. We heard the news that she returned.
Yes.
A call went out once again. Look, we really want to bring in this person.
Yes.
And then it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought that sometimes things just happen at the right time. My hope is that justice
Yes,
justice
absolutely.
will be served. Yeah.
And I know I saw the ex-boyfriend on the JCF social media Wanted Wednesday post. So I don't know if that contributed at all, but again, you know, kudos to the JCF as usual for really getting us much more involved than the public has been in
It's a
previous
must.
years.
It's a
It's
must.
been clearly seems to be working. So, all right, last up.
No, I was saying, if it begins to trend where every time there's allegedly persons who are held and the news breaks in weight has broken for this one, it'll be good. It's always good news when
Always
we
good
heard
news.
that someone is
You know what I love about the story? I want that the line in the story to go out more.
Go on.
That a woman in whose company was with was arrested
also
in
arrested.
connection with harboring a fugitive. Because I've said it before, I'll say it again, that criminals get away with crimes, all kinds of crimes, because somebody helped them. There's I don't want to be extreme, so I won't say never. There's very rare that someone has committed a crime and nobody know about it. Somebody know and somebody's helping to cover it up. Why am I not get involved?
Well, so we'll keep tracking it and see what happens there. So next up, wrong body buried. And this is according to the Star. So in a shocking turn of events, a family in Bogwalk, St. Catherine faces an unbelievable ordeal after a funeral mix-up. Tony and Alexander, mother of 11-year-old Brian Gooden, immediately sensed something was wrong when she saw the body in a glass casket at her son's funeral last Saturday. Despite her protests, her concerns were dismissed by family and mourners. Alexander's doubts were about the identity of the boy in the casket, believing it was not her son. Upon visiting the funeral home, Gooden's father's worst fears were confirmed as he found his son's body was still there. The CEO of the funeral home acknowledged the ongoing investigation into the mix-up, admitting such errors are not uncommon in the industry.
Not uncommon.
I was when I read the story, I was me vex because me say, first of all, don't deal with people's grief like this. Like it was, I mean, how the story was written, it came off like him just, you know, the mother, cause she want her next funeral, she want to do over the funeral, and they're like, no, you're not gonna, we'll take out the body, bury the right body, whatever, but we're not gonna give you another funeral.
The service again.
You know, I was talking to my wife about that. She was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I better give the body have an experience and my son, my church."
But what I'm
It's trauma
surprised
on top
about.
of trauma.
And that's what I was saying.
But
Like,
I'm
if
surprised
this was
that this is
America,
uncommon.
lawsuit.
Right. And I'm
Lawsuit,
surprised that
you've
this is not
re-traumatized.
that this is not uncommon. Really, I thought that this
No,
would
no,
be like,
no.
oh my
It's-
gosh,
No,
this
in
is
terms of the
so.
burial, I think the
this is
burial
so-
part is uncommon. But like, you go to a funeral and when you look, is the wrong body come? Yeah, because like
But
on
you
the
know what?
morning, things
It's-
happen.
It's a typical remark that's often heard from family members. When my brother passed, when I went and saw him, I said, "That's not my brother." I have heard it how many
Yes,
times by
that
different
is true.
persons. So you may be tempted to think that she's just saying that because of the grief that she's saying
And the
it's not my
truth
son.
is that you've
But it
never
was-
seen your loved one as a corpse. And sometimes, depending on how they die,
Yeah, they
depending
might
on what
look a
they
little
die,
different.
they look different. But
Yeah.
she's saying, this is not my son. This picnic is taller.
Yes.
This picnic is darker.
Yes, yes.
But the truth is that sometimes the corpse does look darker than the
Right,
person looked when they were
right, yeah.
alive, you know? But, and then like when they're laying back and gravity's pulling back on the face,
Mm-hmm.
they don't look the same.
Yeah, but I also feel like a mother knows her child, and a
Yes.
mother
There you go.
knows
And,
that this is not my child, you know.
And so, and my thing is, she adamant had said it's not my child,
Yes.
and nobody took her seriously. You're
Yes.
just it's the grief talking.
Yes. But I'm happy that Daddy went to confirm and to check it out to see the balance of parenting right there.
Yes,
he
yes,
went
yes.
to the funeral home and then he confirmed that his boy is actually still there. So I'm hoping that this gets settled. If it
Yeah.
is that she wants another ceremony, give it to her. Give it to her.
Who should give it to her?
I mean, the providers. So it's not paid for again.
Eh? Hold on,
It's not paid for
again. the level,
service,
the level
the
of
caretaker.
bad press, the level of bad press that they would get.
If they need again?
No, if they didn't.
If they didn't.
I mean, it would the money that you would be taking to do over the funeral, it worth it. Just do it.
Salvage
Just do
Just
it.
do it.
Just do
your
it.
reputation.
Just do it.
Salvage your reputation.
Just do it.
yeah?
Just do it.
Just do it. I mean, and when we say, let me put it in way, just do it.
Just do
let me
it.
base up our voice
Just
because it's
do
time
it.
for a break. When we return, we'll be discussing the 3 M's: men, money, and mental health
Aye.
in the Money Master class. TK, I'm sorry, kind. I'm
That's
joining
okay.
you.
I'll take away myself. I'll take away
It's the
myself.
man them.
That's all right.
It's the man them, innit?
That's okay. That's okay.
Stick around, we'll be right back.